Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani, and want to begin by giving our heartfelt thanks to Ron Belter and the folks here at Sacred Heart Radio. They air a great deal of EWTN programming, and Debbie and I are here hosting their fall share-a-thon, which Debbie got started this morning and is off to a great start already.
It's wonderful to hear all the calls coming in and the volunteers just having smiles on their faces. And so many people are saying, yes, I love Catholic radio. And this is Pledge Drive season. So please, if your local Catholic radio station is asking for you to support it, please step up and do it. And please do not forget EWTN, because it's EWTN, the programming that happens here is just truly amazing. And it's the truth, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's a great time to be Catholic, I think. It's a great time to have Catholic radio going strong. So yes, Jerry, I'm excited about it. I just sent Rich Jesse, our producer, a picture of us in the studio in Seattle, in Sacred Heart Radio's studio and offices here. And so maybe they might post it, and so they can, so our Take Two family can see us at Pledge Drive.
Well, that would be kind of fun, and we always appreciate all of you listening, and what you share on this program always has an impact on other people. But Debbie, today I think the topic that we have chosen for the episode that we are going to be presenting to people today is really going to be impactful, because, folks, we're going to be talking about if you're caring for someone with a debilitating illness. We want to know how you're holding up, how you're maybe being blessed by providing maybe in-home care for an elderly parent. We're talking here about things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, dementia, things like that. Unfortunately, that happens to, like I say, many of our parents or grandparents. So if you're someone who has really found yourself through God's providence being one of the caregivers, or maybe the caregiver for someone in your family or extended family or a friend who is in declining health because of a disease like this, share your take. We want to know what you're doing in order to make that person's life better, more comfortable, keep them connected to their faith, and also how you're taking care of yourself, Debbie, because that is so important that we not just wear ourselves out doing that.
I've been blessed with my father when he passed in 2010. My husband and I, Marty, were the caregivers of my dad, including my mom. My mom was the primary caregiver for my dad, and now my mom is getting up there in age, and she's starting to slow up a bit. And my husband and I, Marty, we are the caregivers again. And I have to tell you, Jerry, honestly, the blessings, when you just said the blessings, absolutely. I believe there are blessings. It's quality time that we get to spend. It's very intimate time that we get to spend when we're seeing our parents, our loved ones in that very vulnerable state of having an illness or declining health. But I also will tell you, when you just said you got to take care of yourself too, that's a true statement, because it can be taxing. It can be really hard. And if you've got a lot of things in your life that are stressful already, and then you're a caregiver for somebody else, that's an added layer of stress. Plus, it's emotional. And so we really want to talk about this today. How are you coping? Are you seeing the blessings? Are you feeling support around you? Are you taking care of yourself? And are you able to really enjoy the moments you have with that loved one that you're caring for? And it's a great topic to discuss. It hits home very near and dear to me and my husband. I know Marty's listening as well, and he said, "Boy, this is going to be an interesting topic. I hope I don't shed tears." And you get emotional, because you love your family so much, and when they're going through this, it's hard. So, number to dial if you want to share in on this conversation, maybe educate us: 1-800-585-9396.
All right, that number is toll-free. It works from right where you are, 1-800-585-9396. Again, our topic today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie: if you were involved in any way in the care of someone in your life who unfortunately may be struggling with something like declining mental capacities, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. There are just a wide range of illnesses and diseases, and it can be tough. And another thing that I would like to toss out to our listeners is if anybody is going through this, and maybe you've got some anger about this whole thing, or you're confused, like, how could this happen to my dad? How could this happen to my mom? Because you're used to seeing such vibrant and energetic and active parents or grandparents, and maybe you're just trying to make sense of it all, or maybe you have worked through all of that. Here's the thing. There are countless people going through this right now. And as we always say on this show, your takes drive the show. And what you share, Debbie, what our listeners share, it's a guarantee, Debbie, someone else is going to be listening who is going to not really have the right frame of mind or perspective. And all of a sudden, they're going to hear what one of our listeners shares and go, okay, this changes how I look at the situation.
And it's important to know we're not alone in all of our life struggles. And Jerry, you were very real about how you said different emotions that one could be feeling when the shock of having this situation happen upon their family, and now they're the caregivers. You said anger, could be resentment. There all sorts of emotions happen. And I promised myself I wasn't going to shed any tears, but I can tell you I'm going to get emotional because I really think sometimes that it is really, really hard to deal with loved ones who it's out of your control what's happening to them, and you just have to be there for them. And what about if you maybe you're the only one in the family, and the rest of the family has kind of abandoned you, and you're taking care of this loved one by yourself, and it can be lonely. You can get discouraged. There's a lot of emotions, and let's talk about it, because the idea behind Take Two is that we walk away changed just a little bit, closer to God, better understanding of ourselves and the world around us. And it really does make a difference. And like Jerry said, so many of us need to hear this. So this is a perfect topic. I know it hits close to my heart. We can see by the phone calls, it's definitely on your minds and hearts. So call in 1-800-585-9396. We'll be right back.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
One time we needed this studio, and the crew is always complaining, Mother, we can't do more than one program, and we need another studio. And I said, well, we don't have the money. And somebody said, well, we never have it, Mother. Why don't we start? And I thought, okay. So I had our caretaker put white rags around a section of the yard that's 50 by 100. That's the studio. And I just kept them there. And about 8 bishops came down for Father Banyana's show. And one bishop said to me, what are those white rags? And I said, well, we need a studio, but I can't afford it. And I want to remind the Lord that's where it should be.
For more information on Mother Angelica, visit Religious Catalog at EWTNRC.com.
It's time for your favorite EWTN program, but there's no radio? No problem. Download the EWTN app at EWTN.com/mobile and enjoy on-demand live streams of your favorite EWTN radio and TV shows right now.
EWTN is now on Twitter. Get short, timely messages from EWTN on your computer or cell phone. It's easy to stay up to date on a wide variety of topics. Pro-life news, Vatican announcements, catechesis, apologetics, the latest EWTN programming, and more. You can link to EWTN on Twitter from our homepage or go to twitter.com/EWTN. At work, at home, at school, and on the road. Stay connected to your world with EWTN's Twitter page.
This is Janet Benkovic, host of Women of Grace.
Hello, this is Cardinal Donald Wuerl of the Archdiocese of Washington.
This is Gloria Purvis, host of Morning Glory. Thanks for listening to the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
We're so glad you're with us. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie today, talking about something that really hits home to a lot of people. I mentioned Debbie and I are at a station doing a pledge drive, and right during the break, one of the volunteers came in and said, "What's your topic today?" And we said, "Well, it's caring for elderly people with dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's." He goes, "My mom." He goes, "Well, I'm doing that for my mom." Debbie, this is so much more common than we'd like to think. And so we want to hear your takes on this. And remember, it's really the end result we want is for all of our listeners to take away new insights, new perspectives, new ways of being Jesus to the people they're caring for, and also being Jesus to themselves, Debbie, and making sure that they are in a good place.
We've got full phone lines, so when a phone line opens up, please do not hesitate. Dial in at 1-800-585-9396. Keep in mind, we all have our own personal story with this, with being a caregiver. So when you're called upon, please really try to keep your story concise so we can really get to the heart of it so we can all learn. That's what we're here for this hour. So Carrie, you're first up listening to EWTN Radio in Dallas. Hi, Carrie. Welcome to Take Two.
Hello.
Hello.
I just wanted to say thank you for the topic, and I had no idea I was going to call in today, so this is really weird. For me.
Oh, see, no. It's not weird, Carrie. It's a Holy Spirit. It really is.
You're right.
Yeah.
But,
so there you go. Go ahead.
I and my husband were the main caregivers for my father, who passed away in 2009. But we are at the same time we were taking care of my mother, and both my parents had Parkinson's disease. I know what you mean as far as saying it's hard. And the blessings that you still get, because there were so many moments that I feel that I got with my dad just because I was the one that was there at night that maybe, changed his clothes or got him into bed. And, when he couldn't speak, he would lean forward and put his head against mine, and that was kind of his thank you, and I'll always be grateful for those moments. And it was a lot of years, and my husband and I weren't able to have children at the same time, so we had that kind of stress. But once my father passed away, we talked even more about adoption. We felt like my dad was speaking in our ears, and very shortly later, we had our daughter that we adopted, and my mom now gets the blessing of having her around. So we've been blessed. Big. We've gone through a lot, but we're still going through a lot with my mom. But God is good, and He really has always helped us along the way with my parents.
Yeah, Carrie, thank you so much for what you and your family have done, and we would certainly, if we can, I've got a couple things to say, but can we get the names of your parents so that?
I think your mom's still alive. Your mom's.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Your mom's with us.
Yes,
her dad.
Sorry about that. I apologize. Your dad.
That's okay.
I apologize,
That's
Carrie.
Okay. Lelo, Lelo, my dad's name. His nickname, and then my mom is Lala, Lala.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, we'll keep her in prayer, too, because we hope that she's still going strong. But I'm so touched by your story and how you said your father reacted and he communicated with you in the best ways that he knew how, just leaning his head on your chest and so forth. And here's the thing. There's always these joking things that go around how, when you're a child, your parents take care of you, and then later you take care of your parents. And sometimes it's put out as a joke, but really it's not a joke. Debbie, it's this beautiful, almost circular kind of thing that then we get to almost, in a sense, give back to our parents so much of what they've given us in our lives.
That's exactly what it is. And Carrie, your story is so beautiful. I could hear the emotion welling up as you were talking about your dad. I kept thinking to myself, your dad passed in 2009. Mine passed in 2010. Wouldn't it be cool if the two of them met in eternity? And how cool would that be? Because we're all connected. So, and you said your mom's name is, you said Layla. Is it Layla?
Lala, L-A-L-A.
Lala.
Yes.
Okay, Lala. I'm sorry. Okay, I couldn't quite hear.
Right.
Lala. Okay, so I'll make you a deal. I'll pray for Lala because she's with us, and you pray for my mom, Connie, because she's still with us. And I'll make Yeah, because we're in this together. We're in this together, and I think that is so beautiful that your mom now can share in your family, and you did spend that beautiful time with your dad, and there's no way around this to say that caregiving. I mean, yes, the blessings are there, but it can be a tough process because we're watching the people that we love the most decline in front of our eyes, and how can anybody say that that's an easy thing? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I can tell you that when I took on taking care of my parents, at one point my mom cried, and I asked her why she was crying, and she said, I took care of my father, and I don't want this for you. It's so hard. But I told her it's something I get to do, that, I'm thankful to God that I get to do this because, like you said, they've done so much for me. And I wish I had something more prepared or more meaningful to maybe offer your audience, but I understand, and I pray for everybody that's going through it. But like you said, it is important to take care of yourself. I learned to ask for more help. Some of my siblings weren't always able to, but they do what they can, and I'm learning to ask now even more so. So we have some family time with my young daughter, but I do encourage people that it's okay to do that because I felt sometimes that I wasn't able to handle it all, and that somehow that was something I just wasn't able to do it all, but it's okay.
Right. No, Carrie, the intention, the heartfelt intention, the great love, and the effort, that is really what counts, and God provides and supplies for any weaknesses or shortcomings that any of us might have. And so we're so inspired by you. Thank you, Carrie, for your call. Keep listening to Guadalupe Radio there in Dallas, and we do hope that we will hear from you again here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Today we're talking about if you're a caregiver in any capacity, full-time, part-time, for a loved one who is in declining health, especially mental capacities due to dementia or Alzheimer's, or even physically with Parkinson, something like that. What's the experience like for you? How are you being Christ to them? And of course, how are you holding up through all of this? You could really inspire somebody else. David in New York, listening to EWTN on Blessed Virgin Mary Radio. Hi, David. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're glad you called.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I took care of my mother for 11 years. She had a psychiatric illness and multiple medical problems, and I was her only caregiver. There was, it seemed like everyone in the family kind of became scarce, and it was hard making appointments in nursing home, in the hospital, and then finally came home for hospice and then died a week later. And, it's like losing your best friend.
Yeah, David. Well, we can hear the emotion in your heart. Your mom's name, so we can address her by name. What was her name? Ruth. Ruth.
Yes.
Ruth. Okay. Well, we'll put her by name with our prayers and thanking.
You have to take care of yourself because I didn't take care of myself.
Okay.
You'd stay awake and make sure that they were okay. And
right. Well, first, David. First of all, I just wanted to say your mom was so blessed to have you, because for a son to do that for their mother is huge, and you
for her,
Yeah. But how are you doing now, David? Because here's the thing: your mom has passed, and I'm sure you probably still talk to her and still, can maybe feel her presence somewhat. But here's the thing: what are you doing for yourself now? Because now you have done the great service, and now it's time to be of service to yourself and to love yourself and to heal yourself, because it's obviously took an emotional toll on you.
Yeah. Counseling, and it was just a lot. It was hard, but I did take care of myself, and I wound up in the hospital, and so it's just really important to ask for help. And I was very protective. I was there all the time. I wanted to make sure that she was treated properly. So
Are you, David? Are you? You said you went to the hospital. Are you? Are you okay? Are you bouncing back from all of this right now, do you think?
Slowly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I was a seminarian, and I had a issue with depression after, and it was a blessing, though, and I would do it 100 times again.
Yes.
It's
of course you would, David. And go ahead.
No, it's just it was the best job, for 11 years.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But it does take a toll.
What you did, David, was heroic in a lot of ways, and one of those ways is I was a seminarian myself for a number of years, and I didn't leave the seminary because of needing to care for a loved one or something like that, but you obviously saw a need there that apparently God was calling you to fill at the time, and it was a very heroic thing. And all I would say is I don't know if you still think about the priesthood or anything like that, but if there was a vocation there before, I'd have to believe it's going to be there again. That would be something you would have to pray about and seek guidance for, and talk to your diocese again or whatever. But what you did, David, was please understand that it was noble. It was very, very heroic, in fact. And so I know you don't want pats on the back, but Debbie and I are going to pat you on the back right now.
Absolutely.
Fall apart.
No, David, you're not. You're being real. Right, you're being real. When did your mom Ruth pass? When did she die?
February 1st.
Of this year.
Yeah.
Okay. See, David, you're still so in the grieving process. You are so in the loss process of losing your mom that you became very strongly attached to because you were the caregiver. And give yourself that really blessed time just to let the emotion out. If I were you, I would probably wake up every day and just kind of have a good cry or a good scream and just let it all out, because you've had to be the strong one. You've had to be the one that everything was on your shoulders. Like you said, your family members were scarce. It fell on you. You did it beautifully and bravely. And your mom benefited from it. So she did. Yeah, she did. You are a great son. I could only pray for a son like you. You're really.
No,
and I'm sure.
No.
But David, I'm really being serious, because I bet you there's a lot of parents that are going to call up and say yes. And here's the thing: you did a great thing. You're grieving. We all grieve with you, and we're going to hold Ruth up in prayer with you. We're also going to hold you up in prayer that you gather back that robust strength. Really.
Does it come back? I don't mean to take up time. Does it come back? Do you come back? Does the strength come back? Because I don't feel like it ever will.
Yes, it does. As a matter of fact, yes, I will tell you, after my dad passed, it took me almost a year, and I was exhausted. I was tired. I was drained. Jerry can tell you, I was wiped out. And then slowly it comes back. You'll have to give us an update, David, because I'm almost positive of this, because I've actually had a counselor tell me that this actually happens. And after a while, you'll just wake up, and all of a sudden you'll start to feel like your old self again. And it's kind of bizarre, and it happens gradually, but yes, it will. As long as you take care of yourself in the meantime, you're just being kind to yourself. Like, don't overstress yourself during this point of the grieving. Let yourself rest.
Yeah, and David, we're going to get to our break here in just a moment. I just want to close.
I'm sorry.
No, please don't apologize. I just wanted to let you know we have a hard break coming up, but I just wanted to make one final comment here. If you're a longtime listener to the show, you know that I passed through a very dark period in 2011, depression, anxiety, lots of stuff, all the trimmings. And I remember when God started to bring me out of that, and you may experience this too. I'm not saying you're in depression or anything, but just the whole exhaustion and kind of becoming yourself again. There were moments, and then there were days, and I just kind of kept saying to myself, yeah, but I know that this isn't going to last. Yeah, I know I'm not. See, the thing is, you have to just really believe that God is going to bring you out of this, and you're going to be stronger than ever. I feel like I'm a better person than I ever would have been had I not gone through that. So when you have these moments of light, these moments of joy and peace, and you start to regain yourself, who you are, Believe it, because it's happening.
From EWTN News Nightly in Washington, D.C., I'm Brian Patrick. Here's your EWTN News link. Pope Francis joins world leaders in expressing sorrow for the loss of former Israeli President Shimon Peres. The Holy Father will not attend Friday's funeral for the 93-year-old Nobel Peace Prize winner. He is traveling to the republics of Georgia and Azerbaijan this weekend. The U.S. prepares to send more troops to Iraq in hopes of pushing ISIS out of Mosul. The White House says the troops will train and advise Iraqi forces as planning for the Mosul operation ramps up. The U.S. already has 4,600 troops on the ground in Iraq. Congress nears a deal to avoid a government shutdown. It would fund the government through December. The spending bill includes $1.1 billion to fight the spread of the Zika virus. And Pope Francis renews his plea for peace in Syria. At today's general audience, he called on world leaders to commit, quote, with all their strength to the protection of civilians as an imperative and urgent obligation.
60 Seconds with Father Mitch Pacwa.
You can only say that you're saved in Christ and that you act in cooperation with Him. That's the only way you can do it. And God's plan has ordained that the efficacy of the exercise of the ministry is also conditioned by a greater or lesser human receptivity and participation. Now let me go through that. The way that God set things up is that how efficacious, how well the sacraments work, if you will, and how well we cooperate with them depends on how much more we receive or how much less we receive. Are we receptive or are we closed-minded? I can pour a bucket of water over your head, but if your mouth isn't open, you're not going to get a drink. Same thing here. If your mind and heart are not open to Jesus, I can pour infinite amounts of grace all over you, but you're not going to receive a saving grace. That's what's key here.
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Thanks for being with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I almost said Debbie and Jerry. I can't believe that. It's Jerry and Debbie. And we just heard from David in New York. And David, if you're still listening, again, what Jerry said was so right on, spot on. And just baby step it. We all have to baby step it. We're going through life now that's very different. There's so many things happening. I mean, when I was a kid, I never even heard of dementia. Oh, I did hear dementia. I never heard of Alzheimer's. Never did. Now all of a sudden it's everywhere. Parkinson's disease, dementia, everything. And it really has changed all of our lives. And we need to care for ourselves first and heal ourselves through the process. So keep that in mind. We all have to baby step it and really take care of ourselves. Al, you're listening to EWTN Radio in Canada on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Al.
Hey, Jerry and Debbie. How are you?
Doing
Good,
well.
Al. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Well, the reason I'm calling you is that I have experience with illness on both ends of the life spectrum. I'll begin at the end of the spectrum. As a Dominican friar, I was assigned to help the Little Sisters of the Poor at Mullenhome, Denver, Colorado, with the sick and elderly. And I had to take care of individuals with motor, physical, neurocognitive illnesses. And, I can relate to what David is saying. Like, it takes a very serious toll on your body. Like, I had 3 deaths in 3 weeks. And seeing the family crying, and we got to know the person very well, and they're gone all of a sudden. Hello?
Wow. Well, Al, yeah, and this sounds like when you were in formation for the priesthood, and this is really a great grace that you had. But like you said, and nobody, Debbie, is immune to the toll that this could take. Sometimes we like to think we pull a Cam Newton, open up our button-down shirt, and we got the shirt with the S, Superman on the inside, or Superwoman, and we think, oh, I can hold up, I can bear up, I can do all, and it's very very noble of people who try and do that. But Debbie, I think there comes a point, like you've said so many times, when even just try to find someone else who can come for one day, a day a month or a day a week, and say, would you take a turn so I can just go out and have a cup of coffee or a hot meal or something like that?
You really have to capitalize on those stolen moments, and those moments, those small moments when you can get a break, when you can just kind of relax a little, not have the pressure of worrying about somebody else or even caring for somebody else. Those moments let you recharge, and I think you could probably relate to that, Al. And I'm hoping David is still listening. That those times of just being by yourself and relaxing and just maybe reading a book or even sitting outside and just taking in nature and just totally recharging and healing oneself, it can really help when you're caregiving or even after that the people that you're taking care of have died. It's important that you still take that time. So many times people think you go right back to regular life. That's not true. Life is going on around you, but after you've encountered somebody and they have died, everybody else has gone back with their life, and you're left kind of picking up the pieces and trying to figure out how to get back into a routine. It's tough. It's not easy. But if you can make the best of it, there's a growth spurt that will happen. I believe there's blessings that will come either now or in eternity. And I believe we can learn a lot about people around us and ourselves. And all of that, if you put that all together, then it's very much worth it, I think. I'm speaking from experience, so that's why I'm talking this way. But Al, thank you so much for your call. It's always a delight to hear from you. Keep us posted, and we just wish you a great rest of your day.
I want to just interject something here before we get to Lisa and our other callers, and we have some text messages and YouTube notes as well. What about this, Debbie? I think a lot of people would say, well, I think they know intellectually and intuitively, yeah, I do need to step away for a few hours or for a day or a couple days, but then there's that guilt. I would feel guilty. I wouldn't be caring for my loved one. I wouldn't be loving them properly. What's the answer to that?
It happens all the time. It happens all the time. I'm here in Seattle right now. My home is in Arizona. My mom is in Arizona. And I just naturally feel guilty that I'm so far away. I think to myself, oh my goodness, if something happens, can I get back there quick enough? I'm constantly checking flights to see if I can get back there. I think it's hard when you're so connected to that person, when it's a loved one, like a parent or a sibling or a child. When you're so connected, it's hard to remove that sense of like, oh, I'm going to go have fun now and not worry about that loved one. But I think you have to be forced. I know my husband, when he took me to the airport to come to Seattle, he said, Deb, I've got it covered. See, now I'm going to cry. He said, I've got it covered, and just go. Just go. Everything will be okay. And I have to trust in that. You have to force yourself, because it's tough, Jerry. And if somebody could call in and give me a better solution to it, because it does tug at your heart, because you do feel responsible, and that's the thing.
All right, 1-800-585-9396. Take two with Jerry and Debbie, making our way through your calls about if you're caring for somebody with declining health, especially if it's maybe something like Parkinson's that they can't control, or a mental loss of mental faculties or capacity with Alzheimer's or dementia or something. 1-800-585-9396. Share your take with us. And Lisa, bless you, Lisa. You have been you get our Patience Award today, listening on Real Presence Radio to EWTN Radio. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, thanks for your patience.
I'm going to try and get through this without falling apart, but I would like to share not my personal experience, but what I witnessed from my mother-in-law taking care of my husband's father, and they had been divorced for many years, and when he got Parkinson's disease and was in the nursing home, even though she lived, quite a ways away, she was at his side, visiting at least once a week. She was his advocate. She took him to all of his doctor's appointments. And you talk about, being Jesus to people around you. She saw that he was not religious, not brought up in any faith, not baptized. It was her mission that he be baptized, brought into the Catholic Church.
Wow, this is beautiful.
Even though they had been divorced and their marriage had been annulled for many years, she lived their marriage vows. She got him to heaven. And when he died last year, it was just this intense sense of peace because she took him to Mass every week. She's remarried. She had a great life, great husband, and she sacrificed to see her ex-husband, that he made it to heaven.
Right.
And she is just, she's the reason I'm Catholic. And she is just such, I don't know, I feel so lucky to have been, married into this family.
Right.
And I just wanted to share about her because she is just, she is Christ in the world.
Yeah. Lisa, can you share her first name?
Lola,
so we can thank God for Lola. And your father-in-law's name that passed?
Lynn,
okay. Lisa, your tears speak volumes. And let me tell you why I say that. The love that your mother-in-law shared for her, for your father-in-law, even after the divorce, because she cared for his soul. And that's the absolute, like you said, that's Christ, absolutely. But here's the coolest thing, Lisa. I hear the baby in the background there. Here's the coolest thing, Lisa. We are all called to care for each other's souls, just like your mother-in-law did with your father-in-law. And that's the beauty of what you're sharing today. And I think it's going to just hit into the hearts of everybody listening to Take Two today, that we have souls in front of us that we need to get to heaven with us. And your mother-in-law stepped up to the plate. She did it. And I believe in my heart of hearts that the good Lord in heaven is just shining upon her for that, because she was a witness to you, and now you've been a witness to all of us listening. Look how her beautiful, unconditional love has impacted all of us. It's huge. It's huge. I thank you so very much for making the time to call in, because you educated us and you enlightened us in a way that we never could have really experienced unless we heard it through your tears.
Thanks.
And Lisa, what this also speaks to me about is your mother-in-law, who you said had remarried. Well, this gentleman had to obviously feel okay about all of this, because any new husband could be very, very threatened by something like this. But it sounds to me like he probably not only bought in, but said, "Yes, honey, this is something we must do." Did you get that sense, Lisa?
Absolutely. It's just they're both such an inspiration, and I just don't, I can't even say enough. I can't even say enough about them. They are.
Lisa, can I ask one other quick question? Because we have full phone lines. I just want to make sure we try to get to everybody, but you were waiting so patiently. One other quick question. Did you ever ask Lola why she did it? I'm just curious. Why did she go out of her way to make sure that your father-in-law came into the church and had some care around him?
Well, and I think we've kind of talked about it, and I think it kind of came down to, she, because of the divorce, and, they had some really unfortunate circumstances around that divorce, but I think that I don't know if I want to say penance necessarily, but she wanted to give something, back to him for that failure or lack in their marriage. She wanted to make that right in some way, I think.
Right. Well, she did. She did in my book, hearing your story. So that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Love to hear your how many children in the background? Just curious.
Just one.
Just one, and is it a little boy or girl?
Girl.
Little girl. And what's her name?
Georgia.
Georgia. I love that name. Oh, Lisa, you are a pleasure to talk to. Please call us again. Will you do that?
We will.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Bye, Georgia. Thank you.
Yep,
Thank
George
you.
is insisting on a return call sometime. Thank you, Lisa, very much. 1-800-585-9396. Great takes. Let's keep them coming here. By the way, just a quick programming note, EWTN Radio continues, of course, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our good friend Cresta in the afternoon. We'll have Father John Ricardo on. He's going to be talk about Pope John Paul II, now St. John Paul II, and his affirmation of the all-male priesthood. This is at 4 Eastern Time. And then Damon Owens will talk about the theology of the body. So that's Cresta in the afternoon, 4 Eastern Time, right here on EWTN Radio. All right, Kathleen, thank you for calling EWTN Radio, listening to the Station of the Cross in Boston. Hi, Kathleen, you're up now.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you today?
Great, Kathleen. Thanks for calling.
Good. So I was listening to David, and I feel for him, the gentleman from New York, and I'll try to get through this without busting a seam too. But I lost both my parents between 2012 and 2015. I have been caregiving my family for 30 years. My brother had 2 bouts of cancer and a bout of osteomyelitis. I know the value that's needed in taking care of yourself. My mother was my best friend. Honoring my parents is something I do not regret, and I would do it all over again. But I let my own health falter. And when my mother passed, I have gone through several months now of restoring my own health, and it's been a journey. But I know it is what God called me to do, and I am totally at peace with that. But I feel for David, and I know the loss. And my mother died on Christmas Day, 2015, and my father died December 20th, 2012. And Christmas means everything to me. It always has, and now it even means more because my parents meant so much to me. And even my brother, who's alive, thank God. He had 2 bouts of cancer and a bout of osteomyelitis that he survived. So I am just grateful to God for being able to be there for them. And now I'm grateful for the people that are in my life that have been there for me in restoring me back on my own journey to health. So I just am grateful for this show and for this topic today.
Kathleen, you're a great soul. You're an absolute great soul. I was listing what you shared about your dad passing in 2012, your mom in 2015, your caregiving for your brother who had cancer, and oh my goodness, my heart just went out to you and traveled from Seattle all the way to Boston, because I'll tell you what, you're amazing, and that's a lot. And I'm so proud of you that you are taking that time now for you to restore you, to renew you. And I just can you share your mom and dad's name? I want to add them to. We have a prayer book, and this whole show is going to be prayed over by name for those that have departed us here on earth. Can you share your dad's first name and mom?
Sure. Louis, and my mother's name was Alice.
Alice, okay.
And I'm just going to share one little thing from the Flame of Love, the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and then I'll get off the line because I know there's a lot of people that are wanting to call in. I'm just going to share. It's on page 142. And Elizabeth Kittleman felt very lost and alone at this point in her life in 1963, and she writes this little passage. Jesus is speaking to her heart. He says, "You see why I say, do not leave me alone. Let me give you abundant graces which are stored up in the immeasurable love of my heart. May our souls be in harmony. May our hearts beat to the same rhythm. Draw many souls to me, my parents, my brother. May our hands gather in unity. When you also are abandoned, I will never abandon you. You will be with I will be with you in every difficult situation. Besides today, I will accompany you with the penetrating glance of my eyes. I love that. It's wonderful.
That is absolutely beautiful. Kathleen, thank you for sharing that at the end, and thanks for just, you have obviously inspired, I have no doubt inspired so many people who are listening to the program today, so it's great to hear from you in Boston. Keep listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and thank you. We hope that you will call the program again. More calls in just a second. We do have, let's see. We've got Timoteo, it looks like, on YouTube. Says, my maternal grandmother became bedridden from a stroke in 1967, and if it were not for my 3 siblings and I, she would not have lasted the 7 years that she lived afterward. Timoteo, thank you so much for having that care for your maternal grandmother. And Michael on YouTube said, my mom spent the last 6, let me see here, my mom spent the last 6 months of her life in a convalescent hospital from a botched knee operation. It was tough to watch her slowly fade, but I got to spend her last day on earth with her. So, Michael, that is a great gift. I did with my father. I saw my father take his last breath, not my mother. I did not have that great blessing, but thanks to both of you for posting on YouTube. Okay, we're going to go to Peggy, listening to EWTN Radio on Pandora Radio in California. Peggy, welcome. You're next on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi there. Hi, Peggy.
Hi. What I wanted to share was that, unfortunately, I didn't get to say goodbye to my father. He died right after I turned 14 while he was at work. But my mom was in a convalescent home for her last few months, and I was still working full-time, commuting 2 hours a day, and I had a husband at home to take care of as well. And I felt guilty when I wasn't there. Of course, she helped me with that quite a bit, too. But my 2 sisters totally ignored her, so I was her primary caregiver in addition to that. But what really got me and why I had to call was that within the last 2 weeks in one of my daily Catholic devotionals, it reminded us that Jesus' command was to love others as we love ourselves. And that meant that we had to love ourselves and take care of ourselves before we could love others or take care of others. So please try not to feel guilty because God wants you to take care of yourself, or else you have nothing to share with anybody else. So that's all, and God bless. Oh, my parents' names?
Yeah, please.
Are John and Catherine.
John and Catherine, they're on our prayer list in our book, Peggy, and everybody else who's listening as well. Bless your heart, Peggy. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay. I often say, Debbie, you heard me, our listeners will know if they listen regularly. Well, Debbie and I both travel a lot by airplane. What do they say about the oxygen mask? Put your own on first. Or what? You're not going to be any help to anybody else. So it's not being selfish if you take care of yourself, because if you don't, I think of priests, Debbie. My pastor does not take a day off, ever. And I've said to him, Father, please take your day off. We need you. And God bless him. He just thinks, well, I just need to be doing. And it's like, Father, go out and golf or something. Take a day off. Go out and go up, hike the mountains or something. Get refreshed so you're strong and that you're with us and you'll be with us for a long time. So, folks, if you're caring for somebody, it is not wrong, and don't feel guilty if you take an afternoon or a day or a weekend with your spouse and get away and then get back to it after that.
Mary sent in a text saying, what can a caregiver with no support do to get a break? It's very hard. You can enlist friends. I have asked friends that friends have offered, and I've taken them up on their offer. And you can do that, or you can try to have a break within the caregiving. I bring my laptop with me. The Adoration app, Jerry, is amazing. I can watch live adoration on my phone. I can constantly form myself in the faith, and it does keep me recharged and refreshed. So, Mary, I hope that helps. Okay, Nancy? Want to thank? Oh, okay, we're going to Nancy. Nancy, you're listening to EWTN Radio in Boston. Hi, Nancy. Thanks for waiting.
Hi, this is Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, nice to talk to you. My first husband died of a brain tumor, and I cared for him for 3 years. Then I was alone for a number of years, and I remarried a year and a half ago, and my new husband has an atypical Parkinson's disease. And my message to people that are listening is that God is already in the future, and that you should not worry. that it is a privilege and an honor to be a servant to someone that you truly love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nancy, do you want to add your first husband's name to our prayer list?
Yes, his name is Claude.
Claude, okay.
And your current husband, so that we can pray for him.
Yeah, because David, how is he doing, Nancy?
How is he doing? He's just trying to adjust to using a walker. We're heading to physical therapy right now. So how is he adjusting? I think it's hard to lose your independence, but also balance with doing as much as you can for yourself at the same time.
Right, right. Well, please let him know that we're holding him up in prayer, and you as well, Nancy, you as well, because you're a great soul, and you got a great heart, and that's the other thing too. Thanks, Nancy, for calling, and we hope the physical therapy appointment goes well. That's the other thing too. I know this may sound, I don't know. You may think, wow, where is she coming with this comment? But you got to keep a sense of humor through this whole thing too. Jerry, I crack up at the littlest things, and laughing, it releases those feel-good hormones through your body, and it's important. Or getting out there for a brisk jog. I can't do that in Arizona; it's always hot, but I could do that here in Seattle. But here, getting out there and just laughing and just expressing emotion, it does help. It really does help to release all those feelings that you have, because there's so many emotions going on, and it's tough. But keep that in mind too. I want to share that too for the text messages that are coming in and saying, can you impart some advice? There's my advice: humor, sense of humor.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing you say is try and include some normalcy in your life. Again, if it's just getting away with friends for an evening out, have a glass of wine, a nice meal somewhere, have friends over. We've talked about, like you said, exercising, reading a good book, just trying to keep... life is not going to be normal in a situation like this, but if you have that little doorway that you can escape into normal for a little while, that's going to be a big help. So, folks, we want to guide you to Jerry and Debbie website. Go to take2show.com, the yellow J&D button. Debbie and I would love to come out to your area, speak at your parish, a conference. Debbie, we do live radio shows on location with groups of people anywhere that they want us to come. We'd love to do that. Just go to take2show.com, click on the J&D logo, and you'll get information.
And Lou and Michelle and the others, we're so sorry, but keep the conversation going on Facebook. Will you do that for us? Until tomorrow, have a beautiful and blessed day.